This case starts off intense. A woman facing jail time and fines, all because of what seems like a simple question. What's going on? But things spiral fast. We're talking about police commands ignored, a situation escalating from curiosity to chaos, and a legal line that may, or may not, have been crossed. Was this a case of someone interfering with law enforcement, or someone simply caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? Stay locked in, because what unfolds in this courtroom will challenge what you think you know about rights, authority, and how quickly things can go sideways.
You were charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you.
On September 26, 2024, at approximately 1:15 p.m., an officer responded to a call at the TSU Library Center located at 3100 Claiborne Street in Harris County, Texas, regarding a disturbance. The officer made contact with the individual causing the disturbance, and the defendant approached asking officers what's going on and what did she do. The officers repeatedly asked the defendant to step back, and she became belligerent, asserting that they were at her store. She eventually complied and moved away, but she insisted that a police supervisor be called to the scene. TSU Sergeant Barnett arrived and spoke privately with the defendant. Afterwards, responding officer requested the defendant's information to report her behavior to her supervisor in the university. The defendant refused to provide it and attempted to bypass the officer. When the officer asked her to identify herself again, the defendant declined and attempted to walk away. As the officer tried to detain her, she began to throw herself on the ground and yell, escalating the disturbance. Several officers issued verbal commands for her to comply. The defendant continued to resist, jumping around and asserting her rights. The officer attempted to escort her outside. The defendant then wrapped her arms and legs around a pole, continuing to yell. The officers physically pried her from the pole and detained her. The defendant used her body weight to resist and push against the officers. The defendant was then placed in the back of the patrol car without incident.
Now, this is where things get legally interesting. Up to this point, she wasn't even the original suspect. She inserted herself into the situation. And here's the key issue. When officers give lawful commands to step back during an active investigation, failing to comply can quickly turn into what's legally defined as interference. But the gray area? She did eventually step away. So the real question becomes, did her return and refusal to identify herself actually obstruct police duties, or was this an overreaction by law enforcement? This is exactly where cases like this get complicated, because it's not just about what happened. It's about how the law interprets intent and impact. What do you think? Should simply asking questions ever escalate this far?
What was she doing wrong?
So it appears she wasn't the initial person causing the disturbance, but when they came to respond to the disturbance that they were called for, she intervened. And once they asked her to remove herself from the situation, she refused.
You didn't say, when you initially started saying about everything, you didn't say that she was the initial cause of the disturbance, that there was a call for a disturbance. They get out there and she, I guess.
So what it says is that they made contact with the individual that was causing the disturbance, and then the defendant approached asking.
See, right. So she just comes up, starts being nosy, right?
Right.
And then she basically, I guess, is trying to leave, and then they start asking her for her information.
Well, they were asking her to leave the scene so that they can respond to the disturbance, and she wouldn't comply. I think that's the issue, that she wouldn't leave when they asked her.
Did you say that?
Yes. They asked her to move away from the scene and she refused to comply.
Show me, will you read that part again?
Mm-hmm. So when she approached the officers repeatedly asked the defendant to step back, and the defendant became belligerent, asserting that they were at her store. She eventually complied and moved away, but
So she complies, she moves away.
Right. But then she came back.
Okay.
And so at that point, when she returned, they asked her to identify herself. She refused to provide her identification. And then at that point, when they asked her to identify herself, she attempted to bypass the officers.
She leaves. She's trying to leave.
She is attempting to, yeah, she's
She's leaving.
attempting to leave again.
And then they start bucking up to her.
Sure, yeah.
Judge, what is this case?
It's on for tomorrow's docket. Let me give you the cause number. 251-1137.
Sounds like an interference. So
That's what she's charged with. But so sounds like she's got a case of the nosies, you know?
Three, one.
She goes up there allegedly being nosy, leaves, comes back, and then they start asking for her information. And she declines to give her information.
So, Judge, what I'm looking at here, just to add context to the situation, she approaches in an unrelated incident, it looks like. She's
Correct.
asking what's going on. Fine. They talk to her individually. Okay. They tell her to leave. She continually asks what's going on. What did she do? She asserts, she becomes belligerent, is what the officer says, asserting that they were at her store, obstructing their investigation. Eventually, I don't know what the time frame is, but they say eventually she complies, moves away, but insisted that they need to call a supervisor to the area. A sergeant then spoke with her privately. After they responded and they requested her information to report her behavior to her supervisor at the university, and to identify her, which she refused to do. She then attempts to bypass officers. They ask her for identification again. They're detaining her. She says no.
But what's the interference? What did she specifically do?
Well,
She's just talking to them.
I understand,
Right.
Judge, she's talking to them, but she's saying that they're at her store. She's belligerent,
So?
telling them to leave. They're at her store. The position of the state judge is that did obstruct their investigation. I mean, it's not in this, there's multiple senses of obstruction in our opinion. It's not.
Are you losing right now? Okay. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna-
And just like that, the judge shuts it down. This is a critical courtroom moment. The prosecution tried to frame her behavior as obstruction, but the judge clearly wasn't convinced there was enough evidence to support probable cause. In simple terms, that means the court doesn't believe a crime was sufficiently established to even move forward. And notice the judge's tone here. It's not just legal, it's practical. He's basically saying, even if you think you're in the right, going head-to-head with police in the moment rarely ends in your favor. It's a powerful reminder that legal rights and real-world outcomes don't always align the way people expect. So ask yourself, was justice served here? Or did this situation expose a deeper issue in how authority is exercised?
All right, I'll find no probable cause.
I'll dismiss the case, Judge.
When you go up and you get into a pissing match with officers, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Every single time. If you go up and you mess with someone who has the power of arrest, you're going to lose every single time. Don't go. It's not hard. I found no probable cause in your case, ma'am. Just be careful. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If I want to press charges, or
Don't. You know what? Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't.
they assaulted me, though. They knocked out my tooth, they chipped my tooth, I got bruises on me.
And you can always go file a complaint with Internal Affairs,
That's what I'm
with
asking.
whatever.
How could I do that? I don't know the protocols.
So what agency was this? Is this, did you say it was at a college or?
Yes.
Okay. So you go to the Texas Southern University Police, you go to Internal Affairs, and you can file a complaint that way. Okay, I would take everything that you have, and that's how you do that. Okay, but just Be careful.
And I can't even go back to my job because they're trying to ban me.
I don't know. I mean, did they issue some kind of trespass warning?
No, sir.
If there's a trespass warning, be careful. I don't see that one has been filed. They haven't told me about any kind of trespass or anything, so just be careful, okay? But I found no probable cause. They're going to dismiss your case, okay? Just be careful in the future, all right, man? Okay, please. Good luck, okay, Ms. Wimber?
So in the end, the court found no probable cause, and the case was dismissed entirely. That means legally, the system did not find enough grounds to say she interfered with law enforcement duties. But this situation leaves behind bigger questions about citizen rights, police authority, and how quickly misunderstandings can escalate into arrests. The judge even advised caution moving forward, while also pointing her toward filing a complaint if she believes excessive force was used. This wasn't just a courtroom win. It's a lesson in how fragile these interactions can be. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.